Oh my God, I understand at the same time why people actually lose their relationships in the middle of wedding planning.
The devil doesn't like marriages. So why would he want that to happen?
And just allow it.
It would just allow it. It will not fight. A lot of times, it's not even you guys. The family members too.
Money conversations in relationships, they don't have to be difficult. That's one thing that we're learning. They tend to be. But learning later on that even in his no, God is good. Like his no is his goodness.
A lot of times we like to force God's hand. But is that what he wants for you?
There's lives attached to your obedience, and you can't afford to take it lightly.
That's my quote, by the way.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Brandy's channel. If this is your first, how is this gonna happen? Hi everyone, and welcome back to Brandy's channel. If this is your first time stopping by, you are most definitely welcome. I don't know when this video will be out because I first of all need to go and sit down and think about what I want to be doing. But and today we have an incredible guest with us. You guys already seen her, so there's no surprise here. But with me today on this channel, we have Tobi Naomi.
Hello everyone, I'm shy.
Why are you shy? So we're just gonna get right into it, just so that we don't waste too much time. This babe literally flew in to Ottawa at midnight today, and it's currently almost 7:30 p.m.
Wow.
And she's been filming back to back, so
no, but it's been worth it. It's been worth it.
Of course it's been worth it. Okay, we want to hear a little bit about Tobi. Tobi, who are you? They might be wondering why this guest is on my channel, but tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, that's such a loaded question. First of all, I'm a child of God. I feel like that's like a very good start to who I am, but a daughter of Jesus. I'm Nigerian by birth and actually by where I was from. Ethnicity, all of that. I grew up, lived in Nigeria until I was 11 and then moved to Calgary with my family. I'm a firstborn daughter. That's a big part of who I am. And growing up, I was always known as the talkative child. But I always felt like I was speaking words that were worth spoken. Like, I don't understand.
Words worth spoken.
I'm talkative, but I'm saying things that like matter. And I can't say that I always felt or knew that my words would mean something in the future, but I knew that there was a bit of a gift to the words that I had. And growing up, being the firstborn, it was very important for me to speak to my siblings, communicate with them. Sometimes I was their defendant to my parents because I was like, you're not about to do, what you may have done to me, to them. Like, they're not getting in trouble for this, things like that. So I was always the person speaking up for people. And I was told that maybe I should be a lawyer because my words, I was always saying something.
Tobi, you said so much that resonates with me. This is basically my life.
Really?
First of all, like firstborn daughter too. Yeah. Also, growing up, I was also called a talkative. I thought I was going to be a lawyer until actually getting into university.
Me too.
I thought I was going to study law.
Pre-law.
Like I thought I was going to study law, but then everyone kept telling me, well, don't listen to them honestly, but people kept telling me law doesn't do well in Canada. And first of all, in Canada, you know how you can't do law for a first degree?
Yes,
so you have to do pre-law, then go to law school.
Or political science.
Most people would do like political science or poli-sci was what I was actually going to go do.
That's actually what I entered the
honestly, like poli-sci was what I was going to go do.
Wow.
This is before I applied to university though.
Okay.
And then while applying, everyone was just like, you know what, even if you want to still go to law school, do something that's more like
you can use the degree for something.
You can use that degree in case you get tired. You can use that degree for something, right? Not like poli-sci is not a degree that you can use, but something that's more
transferable knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, poli-sci isn't really me. Let's start from that. But then it felt like the perfect way to get into law.
Yes, very much so. No, I that resonates with me.
So as you're talking, I'm like, okay, this is me. Yeah. This is me. Tobi, can you tell the people how we met?
Yes. Oh, guys.
I can relax. You don't have
Thank you. No. When I saw you moving back, I was like, Justin. So this was in December of 2022. I had gone to Lagos. Now I had followed Brandy for I think about a year and a bit from 2021 into 2022.
Right.
So on YouTube, and then I think it was TikTok next, because that now started becoming like more frequent, and then Instagram. So I get to Lagos, I didn't know anything about you. I must have missed the vlog or something. I didn't know you were going to be in Lagos. So I go on Instagram one day and I see your story. I feel like it was probably maybe December like 15th or some day.
Yeah.
You post. I remember where I was sitting in the Airbnb that we were in. I looked up, I asked my sister, I was like, do you think I should text her to ask her if we can hang out? My sister was like, are you crazy? Does she know you? And I said, oh. Maybe I shouldn't have asked you. So I said, well, you never know. Like, maybe she'll say yes. That's how I texted you on DMs. Because remember, it was a DM that I sent you, and it was late at night. So in my mind, I was like, this baby was probably going to sleep. Let me just text her in the morning.
And you know what? That was so intentional because at the time, my DMs weren't as messed up as they are now. Now, honestly, if someone texts me,
you won't see it.
I will probably see it, like, but it might be too late. Yeah. Maybe like 2 weeks later, just because I don't even know where to get started. And I'm really trying to work on going into my requests because it's a lot.
It is. And I can imagine.
Right. Thankfully, by the grace of God, I saw them.
And you saw and I replied the same night. Yes. Guys, I was shocked. I also remember that I put off my phone after I texted you. Brandy, you don't understand. I was so nervous because also when you see someone on the internet that you admire and also has influence and there's something about them, you're not thinking, oh, this is just anybody I can just message. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like a throwaway thing to me. So anyways, as she replied, she was like, oh my gosh, I would love to. And your personality matched what you show online. That was huge to me. Anyways, you now said, you know, whatever, let's plan a date. Then you now said, where, I think I asked, oh, where should we go? Because also I hadn't been, I was going to Lagos, but not going out in Lagos. Yes. You now suggested HSC Gourmet. I said, anywhere you say.
Let's go. I don't even know how I found HSC, but
I think you said that it was a new place you'd heard of and you wanted to try or something.
Yeah. Food
guys. Please, there's actually a blog.
So I'm going out today. I'm going to lunch. This blogger, she's also from Canada. She reached out to me. Her name is Toby. Yeah, go watch the vlog.
I was on my TikTok. Yeah, you have to scroll down far. But it was on my TikTok too, and I didn't even know until recently because I don't think I watched that vlog. I watched it on like, you know how you were doing like 10 days to my wedding. Oh yeah. So I was following on TikTok. It was only this year that I went back and I was just catching up on your vlogs, and I was like, oh my gosh, you recorded something after we met up. Yes. You were like, I just met up with you. I called me a blogger, which was so kind because at the time I had like 1,000 followers. That's okay. Remember, you just recently made a video about speaking what you want into existence, right? Calling things that are not as though they were. I called you that because that's what you want it to be, you know? And look at you now, Tobi Naomi, don't play. If you guys don't know Tobi Naomi, if you're a girl's girl, Tobi Naomi is a girl's girl. Like, she makes videos for the girls. And she recently just launched her podcast and I was on an episode. So the first episode actually. This video will probably be coming out around the same time as Tobi's video. So if it's out, I'll link it for sure. Guys, it was a great conversation. And also it got emotional. Please, but that's good. We held it together. Go after you finish this video. Yes. But yeah, so we ended up going out to lunch and it was the best time. Yeah, it was the best time. Just imagine if I had been snobbish or whatever. Honestly, it's not even my personality. Yeah. Right? But just imagine like an off day or something. Yeah. And also you were planning a wedding. I was planning my wedding. Like you were literally this was maybe like a week. I think it was 5 days to the wedding because I remember afterwards you were like, "Do you want an invite?" And I was I was floored. This was 5 days to the wedding. Yeah. Also, your wedding was huge because I remember I came and I could not find a service. What is the bride? I said, I'm looking for the bride. The bride is. And people were looking at me like, who are you? Because I didn't like know your friend. Now I know more people and I'm a bit more connected with someone. I said, who are these babes? That's a long story, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that soon. So Tobi is in a similar stage as I was. Tobi is currently wedding planning. Yeah. How's that for you? How's that going? And did you want the honest? I want the honest answer. Give the girls the honest answer. It's been, the word that I found to use is good stress. Because I won't lie, I've been enjoying it. Like, my fiance, his name is David, the love of my
David.
life. Hi David, if you're watching this. He's genuinely the love of my life, and I keep saying I can't believe that somebody that I fell in love with when I was in university, and like something that I thought was, I didn't think it was a small love because like it felt very true, but I was like, now it's become this thing that like all our families are now involved.
Yeah.
And like my aunties of my mom's cousins of cousins are involved and coming for a wedding. I'm like, just because
both of us
fell in love. So that's like, that hasn't been lost on me even in the process. So it's been very good in that sense.
Right.
But oh my God, I understand at the same time why people actually lose their relationships in the middle of wedding planning.
Have you guys had any like serious arguments?
Yes.
Wow.
Not many. So I will say, because we got a lot of advice going into it, and we have the covering of your pastors, that's a side note. But if you are planted in a church where your pastors can cover you, I'm so sorry guys, get under that cover.
Get under it. Like
get under
the
that
kind of
cover.
prayer and like, mentorship and guidance you need going into wedding planning.
It's necessary. Because I think it would have gone a lot worse if we didn't have what we have in them.
That's so good.
So arguments have come up and things of like, David is very involved. So it's not even been the typical things that like I expected of like, oh please can you care about this? He's even over involved. Sometimes I'm like, you don't need to know about this.
He wants to know.
He wants to know. Like, no.
David is very different from Olu, right? My husband. Being that my husband didn't really care, he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
He didn't really care too much. The
like
main
the
thing,
details.
the things he cared about was his outfit, like the regular stuff. But when it came to like the ins and outs, he left that to me.
I've been trying to not in a bad way, but I'm like, please don't show up to the decor meeting. I don't want us to be saying, he's like, oh, what about this color? I'm like, no. No. But there's that involvement. So I thought that maybe it would be in that way that there would be arguments. No, the enemy, and I made a video about this. Those things that come up are not just like, it's not flesh and blood that we're fighting.
Yeah, I know I made a video about this when I got married. Just everything to prepare yourself for. And I always tell people, like I told the same thing to Uzoma, I told the same thing to Toby when they were getting married, and now I'm telling it to you and everybody that's watching here. And I know you probably already know this. The devil doesn't like marriages. He does not like marriages because he understands the power in two coming together as one. Covenant. He understands the covenant of marriage. He understands what it means for people to agree.
And how many
the
thousands you will chase.
Agreement. Exactly. He understands that when two come together, they will put 10,000 to fly.
Not even chase. That was something, just a small side revelation. One can chase 1,000. Two will put 10, no, how to say, but two will put 10,000 to flight. So you're not even chasing anymore. You're putting them to No.
So the devil understands that. So why would he want that to happen?
And just allow it.
He will just allow it to not fight.
He's not all knowing, but he knows some things. I can't lie. And I think that sometimes we, as Christians, we're not aware.
Based on your character, right? He knows the things to plant in your hearts to let you say the wrong things.
There it is.
You have to be 10 steps ahead. And how are you 10 steps ahead? We need to be praying. And prayer would lead to discernment. Prayer would lead to spiritual wisdom. You realize that a gentle answer will just reduce whatever it is that you're feeling.
Brandy, let me tell you, we were having a conversation. So this was last year. A small thing became a big argument. By the end of it, we were both sitting down there like, what just happened? A similar thing comes up, and maybe not the exact same situation, but a similar
that could have led to that kind of argument
comes up this year because of the growth. Because sometimes also experience is the teacher. When like you haven't brought up your discernment level, where God can tell you to avoid the things, experience will teach you, because in His grace and wisdom, He will cover you, but the experience will let you learn. Now, this year, something similar comes up, and I was just sitting down there, and the next thing I hear the Holy Spirit say, this moment can be that, don't let it. Brandy. Immediately, like this is a moment where my emotions were getting up, so it's not even, oh, I didn't care. I was very invested, and as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh my God. And I asked him a question, he was like, I just was frustrated, or I was just frustrated. And immediately, Brandy, the conversation that was about something to do with the wedding, I found out it wasn't about that.
And the thing is, sometimes it's really not about that
at all.
It might just be a bad day. It might just be a bad moment. And then blow it up.
A good way to like sum up my answer of what this period has been is remembering that the person I'm trying to marry is more important than the wedding I'm trying to plan.
Life after. life after, you don't want to already have
ruin
bad
it.
blood.
Yeah. And even life during. Because he has to be okay for us to make it to that wedding
Exactly.
day. It can't just be, okay, at least we made it to, at least we're coming to, because the people that were coming to smile for, they won't go back home with us after. So I care more about the well-being of our relationship than I do about the success of our wedding.
Exactly. And that's the most important thing, the marriage, not the wedding. You're looking cutesy.
Thank you, Demir.
Do you realize that you met your fiance in a very similar way that I met my husband? You recently uploaded a video about you're not supposed to go to the school that you went to. And then you ended up going to that school, and that was the school that your fiance was at. That's basically the same story as me. Do you realize how much like we are in sync? Like we're so alike in so many ways. Very similar.
To live in the same place.
Yes.
Maybe you'll convince me my daughter.
Yeah, because I was meant to go to the University of Toronto. And one thing led to the other, I couldn't go there anymore. This was very last minute into the admission portal is like almost closed. And then obviously my parents were like, we don't think we can afford this long term, considering your brothers are also going to come to school and everything. UFT is expensive. It's very expensive.
That was one of the schools I was going to go to as well, and similar. I just didn't even apply.
I imagine paying international fees and everything. I was actually going to study math and economics. I don't know why, but like I was good at high school math. What did I think I was good at university math? I ended up going to Carleton. And this is the guy, I met him once before at my birthday. He came, he was invited by another friend. And we talked, we exchanged Snapchats, but that was it. We never communicated again. Just to realize that this guy that I met once ever was going to Carleton and I didn't know. And I ended up at Carleton. And I found him at Carleton. At the time that I wasn't going to UFT anymore was a very traumatizing period of my life because that was all I knew. That was all I wanted. Now imagine God keeping something so beautiful for me at Carleton University. Like the alignment and just God being so mindful of us. And I find that was your story as well,
that's
right?
exactly what it was. And God protecting you and God being good even in his no. I feel like that's what that story taught me. Because even watching the video back, I was like, I hope people know that I was disappointed. This wasn't okay, sure, I'll just go. I was crying. I said, God, the place I wanted to go to was University of British Columbia. I just didn't want to say it because I was like, that's not one of the tests. I wanted to go to UBC, then you're telling me to go to a smaller campus in a place I've never heard of. Who knows where Kelowna is? I'm also feeling like the shame of UBC is this prestigious, so I wanted to be able to say I go there. And then UBC is UBC, but like not the same. But learning later on that even in his no, God is good. Like his no is his goodness.
Even when things are not working the way that we want it to work. Because a lot of times we like to force God's hand. But is that what he wants for you?
Because what do we know?
Nothing!
Honestly, my biggest thing is making sure that people feel heard and seen and knowing that they're not alone. But sometimes also we need a hard reality check. You don't know what the next 5 minutes hold. We actually don't know. Like, we can plan for the next 5 minutes, the next 5 years, whatever. We don't know.
Because God is the one that knows the end from the beginning.
So
the
one that knows the end and is also a good father tells you this is the place to go. As much as it can hurt, there has to be a level of, well, I'm not as smart as you.
Just
you know more than me. So if you know more than me and you're a good person that I can trust and your track record shows you're good, why would I not come and start arguing with, but how could you do this to me? My plan was just off of guesswork. UBC, I thought it was a nice school to go to. Found out I found out later on from 2 people I know that went there that they hated their experience there because there were not as many black people, etc. Different things. Maybe I could have found my own set of people there as well, but God knew that my heart's desire, because I went to Calgary, the area that I grew up in, primarily white. And I moved here from Nigeria and I felt such disconnect every time and I kept praying. I remember I asked my parents if I could move back to Lagos. They said, move back as Peha. And do what? They said, move back as I said, to my friends, to all my cousins were was still there. And I was like, after I finish university, my plan is to go back. And I asked God, I said, I want the people that feel like home here if I have to stay here. I got to school, 30-something people. Our friend group was really big. And we're still like, my whole bridal party is the friend group that I found in university. On David's side and my side too. And they were all Nigerian.
Wow. Look at God.
Like, I'm not exaggerating, except for 1 or 2 that was Canadian and Indian. All 30-something people were Nigerian, not Ghanaian.
Wow.
Or Cameroon, all Nigerian.
Wow. Look at God.
In his note was his goodness.
Wow.
Literally.
So good. Just going back into the wedding for just 1 minute. Tell me something that has been really difficult that you're okay to share with like wedding planning. What has been like, what's going on?
I'm okay to share anything that pertains to me, so I can tell you many things. Budget. The budget conversation has been...
Are you entirely paying for your wedding? You are
No, it's actually our parents.
Okay.
Which has made it a lot easier. So when I say budget, I even feel bad for saying that because I'm like, we're so blessed. Like, being Nigerian, honestly, I listen to my friends that are getting married here. I'm like, you guys are doing what? We can't afford the wedding that we're having if it was left up to us. It's just not possible. It's not possible. It's just not possible with the number of people that they want to invite. And that was another thing.
What's the guest count as of right now?
About 500 to 600. Which is actually not bad because Brandy, when you were talking about your wedding and you said it was 1,200, and to be honest, being in the room, I can see that. So that's why like the 600 isn't scaring me too much.
No,
but coming from like the weddings that I've gone to that have been
smaller,
300, 350.
No, I think 500-600 managed well would be so beautiful. Yeah, you can make it work.
No, fair enough.
Considering it's a Nigerian wedding.
Yeah, so the size isn't what's scaring me, but the budget part. So our parents have been very helpful, etc. But money conversations in relationships, they don't have to be difficult. That's one thing that like we're learning. They tend to be.
Girl, I'm married and we're still having difficult money conversations. So
and it's important to be real about it because I think for the longest time I was like, well, why is this touchy? And like now I think we've also been together for quite a while. So we've come through different like seasons and like evolved into being better now. But in a wedding, before it was okay as boyfriend and girlfriend, but our finances weren't together. Now we're not talking about a wedding and the after part. So our parents are handling most of the things. We're now focusing on the marriage and some things within the wedding. And I'm like, this is my life.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like this is no longer talking about money as like the small money I'm making, using it to buy clothes, buy wig, etc. It's like this is actually
we want to buy property. We want to.
And he's like, we need to start putting away for children or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, this is real. So I feel like it's not necessarily the wedding planning part. Because to be honest, like all the other things it's decor, it's dress, we'll talk with the stylist, let's talk with the wedding. And we have wedding planners, thankfully, for the wedding in Nigeria and the one here. So that's been helpful. But
so you're having one here?
Oh yes, that's the other part.
Okay.
One in Nigeria and then one here.
Okay, so is it the traditional?
The traditional in Lagos, and then the white wedding is next May in Calgary.
Okay, invite me.
I don't know why I just said the date.
It's okay.
Oh, Brandy, please. I was just about to say that's also why you have not heard anything about it. You are on the guest list. You and
I better be.
That one wasn't a question.
Thank you so much.
But no, of course. But the reason for it is because we didn't want to have a winter wedding, but also all our cousins and their timelines, like because everybody is in school right now, like in this phase of life, all our siblings in university too. There was no other time to do it besides summer.
May is actually a good time.
So May is perfect because it's not the winter, but it's so far from our trad, which was our problem. But December was the perfect time for everybody that like all our schedules aligned.
You don't have to tell the camera.
In between.
It's somewhere in between that. Okay, that's fine.
Even though we wanted to do the civil this August, before like everything. Family members that just didn't understand. That's what you guys at Ottawa and what you've been doing. I'm like, how did you swing that with parents? Because
you just explain, and they
have explanation has been like it's actually resulted in like tearful conversations.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, it was also part of our prayer points, like in our fasting period, where we were like, something is happening because it's always like
a lot of times it's not even you guys, the family members too, who. You have to know the battles to pick.
No,
you have to know when to also drop it.
Brandy, can I actually change my answer from budget? The budget conversation, we're getting better. It's the people management. That's actually been
people management. Honestly,
so many different personalities.
Yep. What's your favorite Bible verse and why?
Oh, I like this question. I really like this question. It also depends on the season that you find me in.
Okay, let's say for now. What's one of the verse that?
I'm gonna go to Genesis. I don't know the verse. This is the chapter.
That's okay.
The chapter. Yeah. The story of Joseph has really stuck with me, and I think it was the chapter where he broke down after seeing his brothers. You should go read it. The reason why it's important to me is because I feel like I've been called to be right in the middle or in the intersection between psychology and Christianity, and making us realize that you can be saved and still deal with mental issues, but also there is healing to be found in God for that, but there's also expression in God. And seeing a Bible character, like I don't know if we deep what type of moment that was where it said, and Joseph broke down in front of his brothers. To me, I was like, there was space for him to, yes, he was redeemed. Yes, he got the crown, or he got to, be the second head of Egypt.
But then there was still
trauma. The pain and the trauma of it. So you can get to the promise, but there's also things that happen along the way that could break things in you that need to be healed. To me, that floored me. I think I read that chapter 3 times.
Toby, that's too good. Yeah. That's too good.
So that, I don't know if that counts as a favorite Bible verse, but sometimes I'm like,
it's okay.
The Bible verse is like Jeremiah 29:11. Sure, we can quote that. Yeah. But what's really been speaking to me is there's space for expression, even in rejection.
I agree. Yeah. So my favorite Bible verse right now, and I think this has kind of resonated with my family for the past for a while, and it is Proverbs 3:5-6. I believe that. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. I feel like we've not had anything except our trust in God.
Wow.
Our trust in God is what has kept our family together up until this moment. Wow. I shared a little bit more about that on your podcast, so I'm not going to dive too much into that, but honestly, all that we have is God.
And for real, this isn't like in a nice sounding way. This is not in a nice sounding way. This is like the trenches.
Yeah. We just have God. Yeah. So we were about to round this up real quick, but I want you to tell me something that you've never told anyone. I don't think there's anything that you've never told anyone.
Maybe I've told David.
Yeah, maybe you told me. Tell us a secret. We want to know. A little secret.
Oh my gosh. Oh, actually, this one I don't think I've ever told anyone.
Okay.
I didn't think that I would be the girl that found love, especially when I was at such a young age.
Wow.
This was never, I didn't think to dream for this. I didn't think to plan for this. I don't think I had the guts to expect it, because growing up in Nigeria and then moving here at such a pivotal point of my life, I genuinely wanted to move back. I was not having a good time. And moving here at such a pivotal time in my life, but also my identity formation, getting to Canada and I wasn't the chosen one. You know what I mean? There were the girls that were always picked, and it was such a key moment of my formation that it just solidified in my mind, they won't choose you.
Wow.
And it wasn't even something I was sad about, to be honest. Maybe I was, and I learned to get over it, but I was that was just all I thought. So when I liked the boy, I was like, if he doesn't like me, I said I like him. I didn't say that this was a relationship. Before David, there was never any relationship. There was situationships that we talked, but it never went anywhere. So even when I met David, I was like, I know who I am. I know that I'm valuable. Thankfully, I had parents that spoke a lot of life into me, but I didn't see myself as the love interest. So this love story that I've gotten and been able to share a little bit with the world, it shocks me every time.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, so I feel I don't think I've ever
that's so beautiful. What's something that you like to share to the girls that are watching, or the guys, anyone that's watching? What would you like to say to someone watching right now?
Actually, I took this from what we talked about. Okay. Is it okay if I repeat it?
Of course.
Okay.
Are you quoting me?
No. Yes, actually.
Okay, quote me.
At the end, I will say dash Oyinade.
That's okay.
Pastor Oyinade.
Go for it.
There's lives attached to your obedience, and you can't afford to take it lightly.
Yeah. That's my quote, by the way. Yeah. You cannot afford to take life lightly.
Lives are on the line.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say, because this is happening because of your obedience.
Yes, that's right.
And also me sharing is actually happening because
of your obedience.
This hasn't always been easy.
Exactly.
Also, you didn't say a secret that you've never told me.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, I don't think there's anything that I've never told anyone, especially my husband. But but let's see something. I'm trying to think.
That's fair. And I didn't mean to spin it on you there.
Okay, I actually want to share something.
Maybe to do with like this season or motherhood or love, friendship.
I've shared this with people, but I can share it again. Be ready before you have a child. You can maybe get ready while you're pregnant, but you have to mentally be there. You have to mentally be there. Motherhood is sacrificial. And be gentle. We spoke about this as well on your podcast. Be gentle to your parents because they're also going through life for the first time. Be very gracious to them and be gracious to yourself as well. Be ready.
Would that also be your message too?
No, my message is look towards eternity. The life that we're in right now is fleeting, very much fleeting. We look towards eternity. That's it.
That's so good.
Eternity meaning, your faith in Christ, salvation, Jesus, heaven. Heaven is the goal. Earth is not. You're just a messenger here. And that's linking back to lives being attached to your obedience.
So that we all end up in eternity together.
With your friends and your family. Thanks, Toby.
So
thank you so much for praying.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so
You look stunning, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. You look absolutely beautiful. This dress, we didn't link. Right, guys, don't watch
for style's sake, guys. That boutique in Lagos hooks me up every time.
Send me links.
I will.
You look gorgeous.
So do you.
Okay.
BFW Beauty.
Yeah, the hair, always.
I literally think that you see at my wedding shot.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed and learned something from our little discussion over here. Bye Toby.
Bye guys.
Bye.